Hey guys, I want to share with you the word of the week. This week's word is going to be a little different. We're going to have some group interaction here. So the verse for today is Psalm 119:32. I run in the path of your commands, for you have broadened my understanding. What I like about this is that he says he runs in the path of God's commands. See, when we know the boundaries that God has for us, we can run. We don't have to trip up our feet or if there's not a lot of obstacles in the way. It's just like this sidewalk right here. We know the boundaries. We know God's commandments in Scripture. They're laid out clearly for us. And when we know them, we're able to run after what God has for us, God's plan for our lives, to bring Him glory through our works and creativity and a life of obedience. That's what God is speaking to me through this verse. Let me read it one more time, and I want to ask a few other students around here what God is speaking to them through this verse. I run in the path of your commands, for you have broadened my understanding.
What this verse really speaks to me is it reminds me of another verse in Psalm 119 that says, because we walk in His commands, our wisdom is above that of our teachers. And it just reminds me that earthly wisdom is great. What we're learning at school is great. But it's the spiritual wisdom that is most important, and that comes from following in His commands.
When I hear Psalm 119:32, it really makes me think about when God gives me wisdom or speaks to me, it makes me want to just act on that truth and walk in it, to not stand still, but to just run with what God's given us.
The word that sticks out to me is the word run. When God gives us a command, we are to be passionate about it and not to reluctantly trudge along this path, but to run full force with it. So that's what I think of when I hear this verse.
This verse reminds me of Proverbs 3:5 and 6, which says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct thy paths. If we acknowledge Him in what we do and we seek to follow Him, then He will give us understanding and He'll guide us and show us where to go.
His words was that He was the one who broadened our understanding. And so that brought me to James 1:5, which says, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given him. So Lord, encourage me from this verse to ask Him to broaden my understanding so that I might run in His commandments.
This verse shows me that God instills in us knowledge that we don't already have, so that we can walk the straight and narrow and continue going on the way that He has and the plan that He has for our life.
And I was reminded of Hebrews 12, where Paul is talking about running and being focused on a goal. And I think it's easy for us to begin to walk or jog when we don't have a goal, but to run as if we're chasing and succeeding and winning the prize.
I'd like for you to comment below. Tell us what God is speaking to you through this verse. Have a great week.